Well, hey everybody. For me, this message is too important not to share on all my social media channels. So many people are living with the highly debilitating condition of CFS or long COVID that it's key that I share my story of recovery. If you'd like to, please share this video on your social media feeds, as it might just help somebody that you know. Now, for those of you who love to read to the last page of a novel first or are just short on time, well, here's the executive summary. Dr. Phil Parker's Lightning Process, which is lightningprocess.com, gave me a set of tools that helped me fix my long-term chronic fatigue syndrome in a matter of days. And since then, I've gone on to achieve things that I never thought were possible just a few months ago. And for those of you that want a bit more detail, here's my story. Now, for the past 3.5 years, I've been suffering with long COVID. My wife and I both caught COVID in March 2020, and it really was pretty grim. I've never felt so ill in all my life. After a month or so though, my wife was starting to show signs of slow recovery, but I still have many of the symptoms. I couldn't breathe properly, I had frequent chest pains, the brain fog was terrible, and I was utterly exhausted. Add to this all the other fringe symptoms such as problems with eyesight, night sweat, aching limbs, insomnia, a depleted immune system and just random skin flare-ups. And really COVID just seemed to be that sort of illness that just kept giving. Now, after about 6 months, my wife was substantially better, but I really wasn't. I had to give up a very well-paid job because of long COVID. I couldn't cycle or do any other meaningful exercise. Our social life suffered because I couldn't manage late nights. And I could only go to sporting events that were held during the day, as the evening games were impossible for me to consider. And I'll be honest, I also made a lot of excuses to sort of cover up my real situation. It was really only close family and friends who knew that I got a debilitating disease that made me feel like I was in my early 80s rather than, in my early 40s. Now, over the course of the next 18 months or so, most of the symptoms slowly improved, but the chronic fatigue didn't. It was still as debilitating as ever. Now, to cut a long story short and get to the point, after seeing numerous medical professionals, having endless tests, going through a 10-week course of long COVID rehab, frequent visits to the NHS long COVID clinic, trying pretty much every supplement that Amazon had to offer. I changed my diet, started taking various prescription medications. I even tried cold water therapy, lymphatic drainage. I still showed no sign of improvement. And I felt very much on my own during this period because no one could really help. Many had tried, but I didn't feel any better. I wasn't making any noticeable improvements. Now, I must have read hundreds of articles, social media posts, joined support groups and watched numerous YouTube videos to try and find that elusive cure. And after years of looking for the answer, I stumbled across a YouTube video of someone talking about something called the Lightning Process. The guy in the video talked about how the process had helped him and how he'd cured his CFS, and how only 2 months after doing the process, he was climbing mountains and living a rich and fulfilling life. And truthfully, it seemed too good to be true. But after reading up on the process, I wanted to give it a try. I was desperate to try and make a positive change. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I won't try and explain how the process works. I'd be doing it an injustice. But all I can say is that it's a straightforward process that helps you return to your pre-illness self. In fact, I actually feel better than I did before I got COVID. The Lightning Process, which is a form of NLP or neuro-linguistic programming, helped me undo the savage work that COVID had inflicted upon my nervous system. So using a very simple set of steps to retrain the neural pathways, but it made all the difference. I took the 3-day lightning process course in late July 2023, and truthfully, the effects were almost immediate. Now, since then, I've started cycling again after taking a very long break from it. In fact, last week I cycled 90 miles and I worked a lot on the 2 businesses that I'm now setting up. And I've also noticed many other improvements in my life. Not only do I feel that I have my life back, but it feels like a life that's even more exciting, fulfilling and full of possibilities, more than I ever had before. So if this video helps just one person, it will be more than worth telling my story. I know what it's like to feel like there isn't a light or a normal life at the end of the tunnel, and that you're confined to living a life that you really only expected once you're in your 80s. I mean, in fact, my dad's 80 and he was having to slow down for me because of my condition. But I want to tell you that there is hope, and that I'm not the first one to use the lightning process to fix ME/CFS. And I'm sure I won't be the last. It's important that as a sufferer, you're aware of the capabilities of the process, but then you can decide if it's right for you. Oh, just before I forget, the 2 mountains that the other guy climbed after recovering from CFS, well, I've got 2 of my own lined up next month. And I know that not only I'll be able to climb both of them, but I can do it safely in the knowledge that there won't be any negative health repercussions afterwards. So if you want to live a life that you love, I strongly encourage you to check out the lightning process. It's transformed my life and I hope it does yours. Now, please contact me if you'd like to know more about my journey. I'd be more than happy to try and help anybody who's a fellow sufferer, etc. Anyway, that's my story. I hope it's helpful. All the best. Bye-bye.